Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill-Staxx, and today I got Eli Hawkins. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Stacks?
Chilling. How you doing, bro?
I'm great. I'm great. Living the life.
Yeah, man. So, you got a crazy story. Your friend Damien put me on to you, man. Damien's right here. He said, this is going to be a good one, he said.
You just did a show with him the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it, man. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get a chance to catch up with him too much lately, but it's always good seeing him, is keeping contact and whatnot. And
Yeah,
thank you
man.
so much for having me on the show. You've had some pretty big names on there. Really interesting. That Mendez one you did the other day. That was
Yeah,
pretty
man.
huge. Just awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm glad
Yeah.
to be here. I'm glad to
I'm
be here.
I'm re- I'm thankful that you take the time for me, man.
Yeah, man, it was a good time chatting it up the other day, man. We were on that for like 3 hours or something.
I know. It was
Yeah.
good
A lot of
stories,
we
man.
should have recorded. We should have recorded that one.
I know.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Here's a picture of you and Damien.
Yeah.
You
Been a
guys
long
had
time. Been a
you guys
long
had
time,
some
man.
good times together, right?
Yeah. A lot. A lot of good times.
So do you remember this moment?
Yeah.
Was this
Yep.
before or after the whole phone thing?
Say it again.
Was that before or after the phone
That's
thing?
before that's before the phone. That's before the phone.
So do you want to explain what led you where you were born and grew up and all that, and then we'll get into your story?
I grew up in a small town, Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's a college town, Western Michigan University there, home of Derek Jeter. I grew up with him and his sister and whatnot.
Did you know them pretty good growing up?
Growing up, yes. Growing up, yep. His sister, my dad coached basketball, and his younger sister Charlie, was on my sister's team. So I got a lot of time to shoot a lot of hoops with him in the back gym and whatnot in their practices and games. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, when people become big stars and big names, it's like, damn, I knew them when before they were even anybody, man.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. One day I ran into him in the mall. I was like, yo, I was like, Derek, hey man, you remember? He's like, yeah, Eli, what's up? I was thinking like, I don't know, man, you've been on the Yankees, you got all this stardom and stuff like that. You probably don't remember a small guy like me. What he
Yeah.
was like, yeah, Eli, what's up? I was like, okay, shit, cool.
Damien
Still
says
cool.
my brother guns. My brother's
Little guns.
guns.
Yeah.
The ultimate
Yeah.
fire tryouts. Ultimate fighter tryouts, he said.
uh yeah. Yeah, we did the Ultimate Fighter tryouts, I think eight there in Boston. That was that was an interesting thing. I mean, I really at that point learned about the fight game. At least Ultimate Fighter was definitely about the show. It wasn't about who's the best fighter. And that might almost be attributed to even the real show too as well. Because
Think so?
far as yeah, far as people being in the gym and whatnot and keeping certain guys sharp and whatnot. I've watched a few guys that are the so-called the people in the U get banged out by just a regular person in the gym. Shit has happened with me. So
I mean, you've been in a lot of altercations, right?
I don't know. Growing up in Michigan is it's a small town. It's like halfway between Chicago and Detroit. A lot of stuff spills over into that town.
Was it
People
like really
from
rough growing up in that area?
um that area was kind of it's kind of depressed. I went to a high school that had over 3,000 students in it as far as my freshman year. And only I think there's like a class, the freshman class was like 2,000 kids. but only like 400 of us graduated. So you do the math on that. There's 1,500 dropouts. You can
It's
imagine
pretty bad
what
odds,
was going
man.
on. I mean, it almost happened with me. I mean, I graduated with like a 1.6 or something, man. I just made like one grade. It was like by a D or something like that that I graduate.
Yeah, but you were into sports and stuff, right? You got like you started getting structure to like being in the gym and stuff like that.
Well, funny thing is, so my dad, well, my stepfather, and who I consider my dad, he raised me since I was a 5. He adopted me at 5 years old, and really, really hard nosed, awesome guy. Didn't take shit from anybody, nobody at all. And he was a Marine, and he grew up really rough. Didn't have anything. He was one of those kids that you read about where he gets his next meal. Like I said, I think I was telling you the story where he didn't have shoes for like the first 7, 8 years of his life, and his mom ended up buying him his first pair of shoes. And because he never had them before, he didn't want to wear them. He took them and buried them in his backyard.
Yeah, I thought it was weird to wear shoes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. His mom. He tells the story. His mom beat his ass mercilessly.
Not having
And
money and not. Yeah, man, I can
right, yeah.
imagine.
He came from a pretty large family. I think 8 brothers and sisters. They're from Chicago. Yeah, real interesting. So like he adopted me when I was 5, and I'm mixed. Obviously, I'm half black, half Jewish. Go figure that. And
Great combination, man.
and he was married to a black lady before he met my mom, and had a daughter my same age. So he had like 2 white
So
parents.
it was like right around the same time that he had kids.
Yeah, so he had a daughter my same age, and then they met, and then he ended up adopting me, and then I have 2 younger brothers from that marriage there.
Yeah.
But I was saying that his family, he comes from Chicago. He's Irish and Italian actually, and his older brother, used to work on the waterfront down there, and some occasionally he occasionally have to go on vacation, which we were talking about. Anybody knows what that means, so
Yeah. They're building a wall, right?
You're right,
They're building a block wall, yeah.
So, but he was really hard nosed, and he was a Marine. He was one of those kids that you read about where he's going to get his next meal from, and he stayed in all kinds of shit growing up, and he really was a case of go to war, go to jail. So he ended up getting signed up with the Marines. I didn't really understand it till I went to the Army myself, because I could see that military structure within them. You don't know it, so I didn't realize I was pretty much in the military my entire fucking life.
Yeah, because
he
he just took what he had and he ingrained it onto you.
Yeah, he didn't have his father growing up, and his mom died when he was 14 years old. And his older brother raised him. They're like 13, 14 years apart. And when his mom died, the state came. They end up taking his sister, far as to foster care or orphan. They orphaned his sister. They were going to orphan him, but his older brother took him. And so, far as structure goes, he got what he got from the Marines.
Yeah.
So, but that spilled over into like everyday life. I mean, this guy just ended up working construction. He was a hard-nosed person. This guy had me up at 5, 6 years old, running 2 miles with him in the morning. I hated that shit, So, and he used to try to get me to lift weights and work out all the time, and I really didn't take to it till I was about 14, but he had me in sports my entire life. Refused to let me have a bad practice or lose or anything like that. And
so if there was a big party, right, when you were a kid, there's a big party, everyone was going to it, but you had like practice the next day. Would he say you're not going to the party because you got practice?
Yeah, I really couldn't. I didn't get a chance to hang out and have a lot of friends, and that kind of really spilled over. It worked out well for me. I feel like it turned out real well. When I was in high school, I didn't do the cool thing. I didn't hang out really, especially after that ordeal we were talking about before. And that's when the weight started kind of getting to me because I came in high school. I was like only 5 foot 90 pounds,
Yeah.
but I was a scrappy fuck. I didn't let anybody fuck with me. It took a couple times and a few instances for things to happen for people to understand that and figure that out. But once I got larger and bigger, people just kind of like left me alone. But I came in at 5 foot 90 pounds. I left high school at 5'11", like 210.
Straight
You
like
know,
football player.
well, I went from soccer to playing football. And I played hockey my entire life. So that was it. That was interesting too as well. But my dad kind of understood. He kind of understood what I was gonna go through growing up because he went through it on the opposite side. As far as he was, being Caucasian and growing up in just almost all black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
he's
struggle
understood.
too, man. People don't know. That's a struggle, man.
Right, man. And it's just funny. I was just talking to him a few months ago, and he was telling me some more stories. But so he had a fight all the time, and that he taught me that. So my first couple lessons as a kid, when I was 5 and 6, I used to have to punch his hands, boxing, get me going. And the one thing he used to tell me, he said, if anybody has a problem with you, he said you can do one or two things. He said you can hit them in the nose. He said that's when their eyes are going to water. He said you can run or you can stay and fight. He said, or you can just, he said, or you can just run away. He said, so he said, first things first, though, you got to hit them in the nose. And so that's how I learned how to solve my problems. And it worked. It worked up until it didn't, until in my adult years,
Yeah.
started having some issues, especially with the military. But yeah, I grew up fighting all the time.
So
No
did
matter what.
what pushed you towards the military? Was it because your family went through the military, or were people in your school like going to the military? Like, what was the reason?
People were opposite in high school as far as going to military. Um, but my dad was a Marine. I kind of like, it's kind of like ingrained in me somewhat. But I didn't want to be a damn, in my head, the way I looked at it, I didn't want to be a non-productive member of society. Basically, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I almost didn't graduate high school, and the only way that I was going to college at the time was through sports.
Hmm.
And I lost my scholarship in my senior year. And I broke my neck. I fractured my pedicle, and it cut my nerve. And I was paralyzed for
That
about 9 months. I was
that
paralyzed
was
for about
playing
9 months
football. Playing football,
playing
right?
football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, remember the story I told you about we were talking about shooting dice in the bathroom in my
Yeah.
freshman year,
Yeah.
and that fight I got into? It's
Hmm.
really funny because like me and that kid ended up being friends, but on the football field, he's the person that actually broke my neck. It wasn't on purpose. He missed their quarterback and ended up hitting me. Or he
What
hit the
what was it
quarterback and
like? Direct head on
yeah,
into
my
your
head
head?
my head was down and it compressed my neck and it
Yeah.
fractured that bone there and the bone kind of it moved and it cut into my nerve there. So I had what's called a partial paralysis.
Damn, man. That
And
could have
so
been
because
bad. That could have been real bad.
well here's how crazy I am. So I see the doctor. Uh I have like 2% of my nerve firing, and this is the only way I was getting to college. That is the only way, and that was my future. So my future was riding on this, and so I sat out game 6, but game 7 I came back and I forged the doctor's note in order for me to play. And here's the crazy thing: so I forged the doctor's note. I'm out there, and for me, I'm kind of getting my ass kicked out there because I haven't been playing, I haven't been practicing. I'm kind of
Yeah.
weak. I haven't been hitting the weights. Um, I was doing okay. I was stopping the line. I played middle line in the 4-3, and then the 5-2. I played nose, and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't beasting the people like I normally do. So for me, that was a loss. And the funny
Yeah.
thing is, this physician happened to be in the stand. Like, I guess his son was on the high school football team that we were playing. Saw me on the field, came down and got the coach at halftime, and then that was a wrap for me.
Oh, the
That was
physician seen you?
the
Oh,
physician came and
God, man.
talked to the coach, and it actually brought the coach to tears because he gave this halftime speech in the locker room about like my courage and whatnot, because it happened to be homecoming or something like that as well. And there was a
Yeah.
player that was on our team that was one of the starting players that actually skipped the game to go to his homecoming to be featured as the homecoming king or whatever the fuck the shit is, you know.
Yeah, and
the
you're
dance
going
and
to
all that
play.
shit, you know.
You're going to play with a fucking broken neck.
Yeah, exactly. So
Damien said, "I'm proud to call this guy my friend and a brother. He had a hell of a life."
yeah, man, those things, you know, my dad taught me growing up definitely allows me to be in the graces of certain people. You know, he was a very principled type of guy. You know, I owe a lot to my dad. I really do. Not too many people like really credit their fathers. They always want to say, "Oh, thank you to my mom and whatnot," you know. But I'm gonna have to give the credit to this guy, you know, because he taught me a lot of life lessons that took me far, you know, and keeps me on the side of right with people.
I didn't learn anything from my father, man. Absolutely nothing.
But as far as the military goes, because I lost my scholarship, I wanted to go. You know, I grew up watching Rambo and what's the one with Schwarzenegger and Predator?
Yeah,
And
Terminator.
what was it, Commando, and all these. You know, it was the age of the action hero.
Yeah.
So, you know, to have have the muscles and be kick ass and basically be masculine as a man and be in the military was one of those things. So that I kind of had that idea in my head as well. And also to be able to go to college, you know, they had the college fund and whatnot, you know, so, you know, so that was my way to get out. And once I got out of that environment in Kalamazoo there, because most people just stuck around town. A lot of people they're starting to come out of it now, and I'd have to say in their 40s, but a lot of people were just stuck doing the same thing that they were doing in high school, you know, and I saw that. I didn't want it to be me, and so I joined the military.
Did you know what you wanted to do in the military when you joined?
No, I just wanted to join. I didn't actually understand. I thought the military was everything that, you know, my dad talked to me about. He didn't really talk to me about his specific job, and he didn't really tell me anything otherwise. And I knew what I saw in the movies. So I thought just being in the military, I was going to be in the swamps and in the trees and, you know, learning how to kill people 500 ways with my pinky finger.
Yeah, it was like it was totally different from what you thought too, right?
Yeah, you know, so I started getting ready too as well. Like about a month, I thought I had to get ready for like about a month and a half or two before getting in there. And my dad told me, he's like, "Hey, listen, he's like, you're fine. Enjoy your summer. Be a kid." He says, "Once you get in there, you're in there." He said 10% of people are really, you know, really the military type shit, and the other 90% are just playing it. You know,
Yeah.
and I kind of got in there, and that was pretty much true. So I thought that I was gonna, you know, I didn't realize that all these movies were basically kind of like trying to emulate or I would have to say appeal to like the special team, the special forces and stuff like that.
Was it a lot harder
You
than
know,
you thought? How what were your thoughts on when you got there? Was it hard?
no, the shit was easy after living with my dad for fucking 15 years. The shit was easy, and playing all the sports that I played and having the football coaches that I had. I mean, you know, growing up, we were just a bunch of rough kids, you know,
Yeah.
trying to do the best we could and testing each other. You know, like I said, in that atmosphere back then, it was, you know, who's the hardest, you know, who's the tough guy around here, you know? So it was a thing to be tough then, you know. Now they're wearing skirts and shit, but you know,
It's insane, man.
it was all about who's the toughest and who can kick the most ass, And so going into the military, that's kind of what I imagined doing.
Did a lot of people not make it through?
Yeah, there's definitely some people that didn't make it through basic. It was interesting.
Like watching them drop like flies, right? You're like,
Well,
oh, another one gone.
Was real funny because people don't really realize how chaotic they are. When you go to the military, it's a really disciplined system, and it's made for like the dumbest of the dumb to be able to pass for the most part. And it's very organized.
But not everybody has it, right? Not everybody has it.
No, they don't. And there's a lot of, it just doesn't make sense. And so I'd see a lot of these guys like do just the dumbest of things and stupid shit, and they get called out for it. And that shit, I mean, it was really for myself. My basic training was like 4 months, and it was a 4-month comedy hour, like the entire time with these guys getting smoked all the time, doing push-ups and sit-ups for the dumb shit they were doing and stupid shit that they'd come out of their mouths, or thinking they could get by over on a drill sergeant or something, But so in that sense, I passed with flying colors. I mean, I was hard-nosed. I didn't take shit from anybody. I attacked whatever mission they had in front of me to do, and I didn't give up. I was tough as nails. So a lot of the drill sergeants took to me, but it was a double-edged sword because they'd like to try to fuck with me too and see, see how far, how ingrained that was, because some people can present themselves to be something. You put the pressure on them, they fold.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, definitely. Damien said the Wu-Tang era.
Yeah, exactly. Cutting people up.
What year did you leave for basic training?
July 1997.
So that was, that was I remember 97.
So I went right through. So
I was locked up. I was in jail then.
A lot of my friends were locked up. Some of them were already. I mean, here's the thing.
Wasn't there an incident before you went that we talked about?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that area can be rough. A lot of people are locked up. A lot of people, ended up dead, or putting in work they probably shouldn't have been putting in work with. But like before one of my football games, that Friday night football, that Thursday night, our tailback, caught a shotgun to like the right side, right side of his face.
Wow.
So we're just a bunch of scrappy. And going to high school, there was fights every hour at the bus stop, before you get into school, in between each hour, at the end of school outside, and at the bus stop when you get home. And
that's how it was at my school too, man.
So I try to explain to people, and I'm really am grateful for just the little bit that I have, because I got a chance to make it out. And I try to explain to people, when you have that type of environment going on, how can you think about 4 years down the road going to college? You're just trying to get through the day without getting your ass kicked, or getting jumped or some shit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of rough, but yeah, there was that incident there. There's a lot of, different groups that, you'd run with and whatnot. And not too proud to say that stuff, but like, there's a park across the street. Sometimes we'd find ourselves over there. We'd be robbing people. Not cool. Breaking into houses, breaking into cars and whatnot. And the group that I was with, they went out that night. And luckily, I was grounded from my grades. And I had to be home. My dad was nothing to play with. My friends, I didn't really was able to have friends over at my house at all, and anybody that did come over, they'd tell you, that my dad was a scary dude, but he was really just trying to protect me. He was really just trying to protect me. He didn't want me hanging out. He didn't want me hanging out with the wrong people, because he knew where it would go, because of how he grew up and the people he used to hang with and whatnot. And of course,
look what ended up happening, right?
Yeah, you want better for your kid, so. But they went out that night, And because we're breaking into cars and houses and selling stuff back and making money and whatnot. So um, they went out that night, and my best friend, which was funny because we went to grade school together too, and then we ended up going to the public school. And he ended up killing somebody that night. You know, uh,
He was robbing a car, right? And they
yeah,
came out.
yeah. It was, at the time I thought the guy was old. It's 23 years old. I thought 23 was old at that time.
It's like an old man, full
I
grown
thought he was.
man.
I thought he was old, man. So I didn't have any thought about it. The letters that we were writing back and forth to each other, I was like, yeah, that's what he gets, and this and the other. Now that I'm 42 and I look back at 23, like, fuck, man. I mean, it bothers me. It eats me. It's not something I
Yeah.
think about every day, but to think about that was just a kid. He was a 23-year-old college kid trying to make something with his life, and some punks were breaking into his car. What would any of us do if we saw somebody breaking into our car? So he chased my
Run
he
up.
chased my
Yeah.
he
He'd run
chased
up
my
to the
friend.
car. Stop it.
Yeah, he chased my friend through a field, and my friend ended up stabbing him in the head with a screwdriver. Went right into his temple. And so
Wow.
um, you know,
He got a chance
the,
at freedom again, though, right?
yeah, he did. The real interesting thing, the thing that taught me the lesson though, is that whole case, that whole trial. My dad took me down to the court a few times to watch, and he said, "Hey, this is what friends are for. This is what friends are for." And everybody got up there and sang like a canary. He's the only
Yeah.
one that got it. That he's the only one that had anything happen to him. You know. So it just kind of taught me some lessons as far as getting involved with stuff, and whatnot. But at that point, it was a big enough scare that I really focused on sports, and I kind of
Yeah.
just got right, and I stopped all that. I stopped all that shit for the most part. I found weights. I started lifting weights, and I started seeing results. And more results I saw, the more I wanted to do it. It's just like doing your show. I
Yeah.
mean, you just had an idea to do your show. You're doing your show. You're bringing all these people on. You get more and more subscribers.
Yeah. Gets
You
better and
know
better, man. Things
exactly.
are.
You just keep growing, and so like the more you do it, the more it continues to grow. The more it continues to grow, the more it motivates you to continue to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I want this. I want this to be a platform for me to get to something else, and I already achieved that.
Yeah.
And I'm just keep aiming for the stars, man.
Yeah, this thing's cool, man. You have some really interesting people on here. I'm glad to be a part of it, man. I definitely there's so much more to talk about.
Yeah, man.
There's so
We're
much
we're
more to
gonna
talk about.
we're gonna make this like it's gonna be a a few part series type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my way. That's my way that, as far as getting into the military, I had that I had
Damien said, "Have them talk about fighting."
well, what part? What part?
Oh, we're getting to that, man. So, when you were in the military
Okay.
with these kids, man, the kids in the military, you want to explain that?
Uh those couple fights I got into almost got me kicked out.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, so I get in there, we're young kids. We're young kids, and you know, we're away from home for our first time, but a lot of the good kids they go to college, a lot of the bad kids they go to the military, right? So we're still looking to have a good time and having for trouble here and there, So we go out for a night out in the town, go to the surrounding areas and the clubs, and I let this kid borrow a pair of my cargo pants, and then so you're young, we don't have any money, and so say, hey, let me borrow your hat or borrow your pants or your boots or whatever attire it is you want to wear to the club or whatever. And there's this kid from Brooklyn and a kid from Detroit and Detroit/Cleveland, and this kid from Detroit and the kid from Detroit and the kid from Brooklyn. This kid had a really nice watch, and this other kid had a pair of Timberland boots. They swapped, and I let the kid from Detroit borrow a pair of my pants. Well, anyways, at some point, a couple months down the road, this kid from Detroit wanted his wanted his boots back from the kid from New York, but he didn't have his watch. Strange thing, strange concept, right? So he's pressing this kid to give him his boots back. And the kid from Brooklyn is just like, this he's from Brooklyn, he's seen everything and been around it. So he's not pressed by this kid at all anyways. And he's talking just calm as hell. When this kid keeps pressing him, he said, "Oh, give me my boots back." And the kid guy's like, matter of fact, like, well, not getting your boots back till I get my watch.
Yeah, that's like the logical thing, right?
A normal thing, right? So he kept on with it. And then, so again, this is 98. This is before MP3 and shit like that, and Napster and all this music. We're still buying CDs and shit at the record store. They still have the record store. So we go off base. We're walking up to the store, and I'm with the kid from Brooklyn, and we're walking up, and this kid from Detroit, he's with another group of people. And there's all these little cliques around the base all the time around your block. And so anyways, they start arguing back and forth. The kid starts saying, "Hey man, I want my boots back." And the guy's like, "You're not getting," again, I mean, it's repetitive, you're not getting your boots back till I get my watch. And he said, "No, you're going to give me my fucking boots back." And da-da-da-da-da.
He thought he was going to keep the watch and punk the dude.
Right. He thought he was going to punk him. And then he's there with like 5 of his guys at the record store hanging out. It's just me and him. He thought he's gonna punk him, with his people always get tough with a bunch of guys around,
Mm-hmm.
And so then the kid from Brooklyn said something. The guy said, I'm gonna shoot your ass or something. And I just thought that was really egregious for the situation. You really that's where you're going with this? I mean, that's how much you're dying to be a tough guy, a gangster and this, that, and the other. And I said, "Oh, hold on, wait a minute, man. Oh, stop. I know you're not talking like this. We don't have my pants for like 4 or 5 months."
You said that to him right then, right? Like
right there.
Yeah.
I said, "Hold on, wait a minute, hold on, stop, man." I said, "I know you're not talking like this. You don't have my pants for like 4 or 5 months."
Would all his boys go, "Oh"?
They're all watching, they're laughing at it, they're the hype men on his side,
Mm-hmm.
And so he turns to me, he says, "Oh," he said, "Ain't nobody talking to you. You can get shot too." He flipped the switch. The switch. And I don't get very animated when shit's getting ready to happen. A matter of fact, I get the opposite. I get very calm and I get very professional and businesslike. And so I just said, "I'm going to get my pants back tomorrow." I left it at that. We walked in the store. Didn't even miss a step. Well, I mean, this is all continuous walking just into the store as this is going. And so we get out of formation the next day. I mean, I meant what I said. I didn't mean I was going to get my pants back that night. I didn't mean I was going to get it back 2 days from now. I meant I was going to get my pants back tomorrow. That's what I meant, Yeah. So we get off formation, and I see him go to this. He's walking with these other kids. One kid from Chicago, another kid from Baltimore. I go to their room because that's why I saw him walking too. But I didn't know that he already left. So I knock on the door, like, "Hey, what's up, Hawkins? How you doing?" I was like, "Hey," "Yeah." The kid's name was Green, So I was like, "Hey, is Green in here?" And they kind of looked funny. Like, I feel like they knew something was up, but I wanted to play it really smooth. I don't want to alert anybody to anything, because anybody that really wants to do something, they're not going to let you know, right?
Yeah.
Anybody
people usually that are full of shit are gonna be all loud and boisterous, and they don't want to fight.
Yeah, that's something my dad taught me too. He said, "Hey, when somebody's talking and hooting and hollering and telling you what they're going to do, he said they don't want to do nothing. Yeah, if you want to do something, just walk up and do it." And so, but of course, I had enough experiences to understand that. But anyways, I get to the room and they're like, "Yeah, what's up, Hawk?" I said, "Yeah, is Green there?" And he's like, they're like, "No, what, is everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, everything's fine." I said, I just needed to holler at him about something." And I said, "Oh, yeah, well, you sure everything's good?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I just had to talk to him." I mean, I'm not giving off any type of vibe or anything. you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, well, he went up to his room. I was like, all right, cool. And they're like, yeah. They're like, you good? I was like, yeah, no, I just gotta holler at him real quick. So I run up the stairs because our rooms are separated by different modules, like an apartment complex, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going up the stairs. Well, shit, it worked out because as I was going up the stairs, he was coming down the stairs, and so I stopped him right there. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "Let me." I said, "Hey, I need to get my pants back," and I'm speaking to him extremely nice. Like I'm not approaching you with any type of animosity or anything like that because I just business is business. I mean what I say, and that's what it is. There's no need to give an attitude about it. It is what it
Yeah.
is. So I said, "Hey, man, let me get my pants back," and he said, "Oh man, I got to do something real quick. I'll give you your pants back in a little bit." I said, I'll give you your pants. I'll give you your pants back in a little bit. And hold on, real quick. Hold on,
Okay.
real quick. You got a second?
Oh,
Hold on.
yeah. I don't know if she's having anything this weekend. I'll let you know though.
Hold on here, man.
I can take you off the screen for a second.
No. Hold on. Okay. How do I get back? There I am. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yo,
turn your phone sideways. It'll make it widescreen. Boom.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. That works out for me really good too. So he said, "Oh, I'll give you your pants. I'll give you your pants back when you're good." No, he said. So he said, "Oh, I'll give you your pants back in a second. I just gotta go do something. I'm not waiting anymore. That's not what's happening here. I don't think you understand what's going on, you know." But anyway, so I said, "No, man, I need to get my pants back." And he's like, "No, man, I gotta go do something." I said, "You know," he tries to step around me, and I step in front of him. So now he kind of figures out what's going on. He's like, "Hey, man, I need to get out of here. I need to go do something. I'll give you your pants back, and later." And I said, "Listen, man, I don't want any problems. I don't want any trouble." I said, "I just want to get my pants back. Can I get my pants back, please?" I even say please. I haven't put my head down that far to say please, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so humble that a lot of times people are gonna mistake that shit for being weak.
Yeah, like fuck really, I could talk to him any way I want.
You know, because I'm not coming at you crazy. They don't understand like what's going on in my head. Like this is happening, whether you like it or not. You're already in it. Now, depending on how you respond to this is going to determine how this goes. And it's funny because I was listening to Damien's story the other day about his words. Well, that guy didn't even get it out of his mouth. The same thing. I said, "Listen," I said, "Can I get my pants back, please?" He says, "I'll give you your pants back when I'm good." Didn't finish it, you know. I hit him with that right cross and he spun around. I mean, it was like something out the movies. The shit was crazy. He spun around. But anyways, I grabbed him by his shoulders and I kneed him in his back and his spine. He let out this crazy ass like a coyote yelp or something, you know.
Anyways, and this is in the stairway, right? In the stairwell.
This is in that narrow ass stairway. So then I put him in this full Nelson. And you know, in that full Nelson, you got your arms cranked back like that. I'm smashing them from side to side against the wall, into the railings and shit. And there's the courtyard because there's a bunch of different apartment, billets, barracks in that area there like that make up like a square, like a apartment complex where there's a courtyard there. And there's some payphones out there. Again, this is 98. There's still we're still able to use payphones and shit then. They're still around. And so there's some guys out there, they see the commotion. They're like, "Oh shit. Hey," they're screaming at the top of their lungs in the courtyard, for everybody to come out their room. "Hey, Hawkins kicking Green's ass up here, y'all."
So they could see it from the courtyard. They could see it from there.
Yeah, they can see it because we're like on the second. We're on like the second floor or some shit like that with this happening. And you know, so like 30 or 40 people run out, you know. I mean, I see this afterwards, but everyone's out there, you know. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I got him in this full Nelson. I'm slamming him back and forth, and it's funny because those two kids from that were roommates, the ones from Chicago and Baltimore, they ran up there and tried to pull me off of them. And they reached up and they grabbed me, man. I turned and I bit one. I bit his hand, you know,
Yeah.
and they tried again, and I bit their hand again. And so finally, they just backed off. I don't know, maybe after like 5 minutes, six. I wasn't letting the kid go, you know. And after maybe 5, 6 minutes, which is a long fucking time to be
The
fighting like
MPs
that.
came, right? Didn't the MPs
Yeah,
come?
the MPs came and they tried to pull me off of him. But as they were trying to pull me off of him, the more pressure put on his shoulders because I have him in that full Nelson. So the more they pulled, the more he was screaming. And I was, you know, they're like, let him go. I was like, no, you let me go first.
Did it dislocate his shoulders?
It wasn't good for his shoulders because it was tearing him up. The more they pulled, the more it started like tearing at his. I mean, I had to tear at his cuff and his labrum like that, you know. And
Man.
so he wasn't he was definitely in a lot of pain because he had a high pitched squeal when he was young.
Hey, man, should have gave the pants back.
so you know, I just let the MPs know like let me go and I'll let him go because they're trying to pull me. Like I'm controlling this situation. Like I'm not getting off of you until I'm ready to get off of you.
Yeah.
At least in that situation there. And finally they let me go. And then you know, I honor my word. I told him I let him go if you let me go. But it was a control thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so they let me go after figuring out that I wasn't that the more they pulled on me, the more they were hurting them. And finally they let me go. They're like, all right, we let you go. Let him go. I let him go. That was that. The first sergeant, you know, we got taken over to the battalion and the first sergeant just had some words with us. We didn't even get taken into the office. We were just in the common area sitting on the couch there. He's like, hey, you know, what's going on? You guys got this figured out or what? You know, and we didn't want to get in trouble, you know. So like, yeah, okay, we got it figured out. We squashed the shit, you know.
I got the big question. Did you get the pants back?
I did get my pants back. He did give me my pants back. He did give me my pants back. So that's why after we left the battalion there, he ended up going up there and giving
And you
me my
never got the
pants.
watch back, right?
I don't know what happened with those two kids there. I don't know what happened between them. I don't think the kid got his watch back. And I know he didn't. I know that kid didn't get his boots back because them shits were in that kid's wall locker for like the next 2 years. So
Mother's talking up there. So after that all happened, there was another situation that happened, right?
yeah, this came like maybe like a month and a half later, and down in the motor pool.
U.S. Army
Everyone's
U.S. Army Combat Medic says, Eli, you mean top when you say first sergeant?
Yep. Yep.
He said, what unit were you in?
I was in the 3rd Infantry Division down there at Fort Stewart, Georgia, 464 Armor. I drove the Abram tanks.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but this is gonna be like probably like a 3-part interview.
Serious.
There's a lot to go over. We're only
So,
scratching the surface right now.
So, you know, here's the thing, you know, like I've been built how I've been built since I was 16, 17. So sometimes that gets people wanting to try to test me or try to prove I'm not something or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I'm a quiet person. I don't bother with people. I don't meddle in areas or with groups or people that I don't really know, you know. So you know, for the most part, I'm a quiet person. I just want to be left alone, do my work, don't fuck with me. But there's always somebody trying to do some shit, you know. So
Me too, man. I'm just trying to do this, man, and people come at me like crazy, but it's okay.
yeah.
I'm built for it, you know.
Yeah. I had an instance somewhat like yours at one time, and like you said, it'll be a couple part series or something like that. One might be hitting people with inanimate objects and shit.
Yeah, the whole episode will be just about that.
We can have a conversation about that. So no, we're down in the motor pool, doing the PMs on the tanks and whatnot, and the topic of firearms came up, and I've always been to firearms. I used to carry, my first, years. I used to carry a gun to school. It is what it is. Then, that was back then, and had several different firearms as a teenager and whatnot, but I was always into guns. And
You want to tell the people real quick about your business?
Later.
Okay.
Later.
All right.
But all that stuff had rolled into. I do have a firearms business now, so obviously things turned out well for me. So by the grace of God and in the universe, things worked out. But so we're in the motor pool and we're talking. The topic of the 92 Beretta, the M9, came up, and there's another kid that was arguing about the cost of it. My dad had just bought one before I got into the military, and we're discussing the topic of it, and he was boasting about how he used to sell guns on the street, and he got a felony, and that's why he was in the military there, which I think is a bunch of hogwash, boo hickey. And
have you heard a lot of stories from people like that saying that they're making shit up, like, because they could be anything they want to be, right? Like we said.
I mean, it's notorious. I mean, you see it big time today, but my first experiences with it was in the military, where you get to a place you can be anything you want to be because nobody knows you. Yeah. You can be all kinds of gangster. You can be all kinds of savvy with this or some type of super athlete or something like that just had a bad break or some shit. I don't know. But anything you can be, and then I got to experience it again in college after the military, and then we all experience now with the internet. So
it's bad now, man.
And then there's a lot of signal to that with music, especially hip hop, back in the 90s and say early 2000s. Now it's branched off, and you can be a nerd and have some, have a big following and make good music, but back in the day, you really had to have been somebody or something, and they had the studio gangsters and shit, So
there's tons of them, but anyway.
Right. So anyways, we're talking about these guns and whatnot. We got in this big argument. This cat decides to jump up on top of the tank, on top of the turret, pulled down his fucking pants, grabbed his dick, told me to suck his dick. I mean, how much more offensive can you get? From man to man,
That's pretty much almost as bad as it gets, man.
So again, I just went blank. I went dead, like, placid, and I just said, I'm gonna see you later. I just looked up at him. I said, I'm gonna see you later. And everybody down on the line is like, ooh, damn, everyone's hyping up. Ooh, damn, Hawkins, you're gonna let him talk to you like that? Saying all this shit, like trying to keep the shit going, trying to hype me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. He can talk how he wants to talk. In my head, I'm fucking getting you later, though.
You already flipped the switch, right?
It's happening, But like throughout the day, and this was on a long weekend. It was on we had actually a 3-day weekend that weekend. It was a Friday, and so we got out of formation early, like at 2:00.
But so you were supposed to go, so you were supposed to go on leave soon, though, right? The next weekend.
No. We had a long weekend that weekend, and I wasn't going home. Matter of fact, I think it was. Matter of fact, maybe we had a 4-day weekend because I know we got out early. Maybe it was just a regular Friday. Anyway, all I know is that I remember that we got out of formation early that that day. There, we were going into the weekend. There were a couple 4-day weekends coming up, and so we end up getting out of formation at 1400. We go back to the barracks. Now this kid's room in the barracks is in a whole nother building. This kid's from Alabama. He had the Fox body Mustang, red with the rims on it, like from Menace to Society.
Yeah.
This guy was, and I don't know if it's because of that, but I definitely thought he was just the most gangsterous person on the base at the time. He had a whip. A lot of us didn't have rides. He had a pretty nice paint job and rims. I mean, he was stunting. And he was,
he was from there, right? He's from there.
He was from Alabama. He was from Alabama.
Yeah. So the area. He's from the area.
He's from the South. He's from the South. So, but there's another kid from Alabama whose room was right next to mine, and so a lot of times when you're in areas or spaces like that, you'll tend to gravitate towards people that might be familiar to you. So like if you're from Michigan, I'm from Michigan, we might befriend each other maybe a little bit more easily than somebody else, say from Cali or something like that,
Yeah.
Be a little familiarity or a common bond or something, So
same way in prison too, man.
I was gonna say it, but I don't want to.
It is same way.
I know, but so this kid comes up to. I mean, so this kid that I had the situation with in the motor pool comes up to this kid's room in Alabama. Comes up to the kid's room next to me, who's also from Alabama. And I heard this fucking kid's voice. When I heard that voice, it triggered me, man. My fucking adrenaline started pumping. And I was like, fuck. And I felt it happening. I felt it. And I was trying my best. I mean, it was like the Hulk or some shit, trying not to go there. I was really trying not to. And I was sitting there and it got too bad, man. Like getting real antsy and like, fidgeting around, moving around, trying to keep still, thrashing back and forth around in my fucking bed, trying not to don't do this, having a talk with myself. Finally just went placid, it just went, again, I just went like flatline. And once that happens, like there's no turning back. There's no turning back with me. And I do my best to try to not get there. Once that, and I don't know what that's from. I think probably the military made that. I am like that, but I think the military definitely made it worse. Because you get a mission in your head, and it's like you got to accomplish the mission. Failure's not an option. All these fucking things the military tells you to do. About you kind of live your life by it. So I get up and I knock on the kid's door. The kid comes to the door. He said, "Oh, what's up, Hawkins? How you doing, man?" Because me and this kid next door, we were real cool, man. Real social guy, real cool. Didn't mean anybody any harm or anything like that. Always a talker,
Yeah.
Wasn't a tough guy or nothing, So I'm always cool with him, Hey, what's up, Hawkins? How you doing, man? What's up? I was like, oh, yeah. It's like, hey, man, is Robinson in there? And he's like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, come on in, man. I guess they had ordered some pizza, and they were eating pizza together or whatever. And he's like, yeah, man, come in. And I was like, he's like, yeah, come on in. I said, no, I need to talk to him. I need to talk to him by myself. He's like, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, give me a second. And then he walked back there and he walked back out. I was like, yeah, man, go ahead. So I walked in there and shut the door. I turned around, shut the door and locked it. I locked the door.
You're like, what was he like?
Ain't nobody leaving this motherfucker.
Did he have any inkling about what was about to happen?
He couldn't see me at this point. He still couldn't see me because the way the wall lockers were situated in the room, he didn't even know I was in there at the time. I walked in there, I turned around, shut the door, and I turned around and locked it. you know. So
Oh,
and
man.
so I step around the wall locker. He sees me. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Hawkins?" And I was like, "Hey." I was like, "Yeah, you know, earlier we kind of had that argument, and you know, you pulled your pants down. You said some choice words to me. You're talking shit." I said, and I didn't really appreciate that, you know, and I'd like for you not to do that to me anymore, you know. And he's like, "Oh man, Hawkins, I was just fucking with you, man. Come on, man. You know, I didn't mean anything by it." And I was like, "But that shit don't mean a goddamn thing. You don't do that shit, you know."
Yeah.
It didn't matter what he said to me. In my head, I was offended already, you know.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh man, I was just fucking with you. You know, I didn't mean anything by it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, you're talking shit. I get it, but you know, please don't do that with me. You know, I mean, I don't deal real well with it, and you know, I'd appreciate if you didn't do that anymore." "Oh, come on, man, Hawkins. Everyone knows I'm a shit talker. You know, everyone knows I'm a shit talker. I was just talking shit here and there, you know." And I said, I don't understand. I don't understand why we're even arguing about this shit. You know, I'm
Yeah.
thinking like I'm glad I did lock the door because this shit's about to get fixed one way or the other. You know,
You're just
nobody's
telling him,
leaving
like,
this.
don't fucking talk to me like that.
I didn't get it. You know, so then I said, "Listen," I said, I said, "I understand that." I said, "You might." He said, "Oh, I said, I talk shit to everybody. Everyone knows I'm a shit talker. I talk shit to everybody. It's nothing." I said, "That's fine. You can do that with those people, but don't do it with me." And so the guy says, "Well, if you can't take me or if you can't handle me." Oh, I said, "Yeah, don't talk shit to me anymore. I know you do it with those people, but don't do it with me. I can't handle it." I mean, how much more do I have to like present myself to be, you know, docile or something like that,
Yeah.
where I'm not trying to have some bullshit with you or something, you know? Like, how much more can I come to you where I'm not pressing you and antagonizing you?
Oh,
And
man.
and so he says, and again, because I'm not gonna give somebody. Listen, I'm gonna give everybody a fair opportunity for this not to happen. Just like the last kid.
Yeah.
Can I get my pants back,
You'll
please?
let him back out, right?
I'm giving you a fucking bridge to retreat over.
Yeah.
So the kid says, "Well, if you can't handle me talking shit to you, you just must be some kind of pussy." Now I'm a bitch. Now I'm a pussy. Okay. So then he decided. I said, "Well," I said, "All right." I said, "Well, we're gonna settle this shit one way or the other. You're either gonna agree to not talk shit to me anymore, or we're just gonna settle this shit like men." And he's like, "Man, you better get the fuck out of here, Hawkins." And so he tries to get up and leave the room. And I step in front of him. He's like, "Man, what the fuck you doing?" I said, "This is getting handled." He tries to sidestep me again.
Yeah.
He tries to step around me again. So I step with him. I was like, nobody's leaving here until this shit gets handled one way or the other. And he reached
You're gonna
back.
stop running your mouth, or we're gonna handle it right now.
I'm trying to handle the shit. I'm trying to handle like, yeah, exactly. You know, I'm trying to handle this in a what's the word? In a
Civilized manner.
civilized, diplomatic manner, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
All right.
All right.
So there's some scissors on this desk over here. I didn't see. He reached back and picked these scissors up and tried to stab me. And I caught his hand. You know, I caught him at his wrist. You know, and the perfect self-defense bullshit they teach you at these self-defense classes. You catch their arm, at least the old 90s style type of self-defense. I caught his hand coming down on my chest. You know, and I threw him into the wall locker.
Didn't you know some self-defense skills by then?
I mean, I'd been doing stuff. I'd been doing, you know, I started kickboxing at that point. You know, I started kickboxing. This is when I started kickboxing. Is in the military. I did a lot of Jeet Kune Do at that time. I did capoeira. I did aikido. I was just dabbling in arts, you know.
Yeah.
And
So he's trying to stab you with the
so
scissors.
I threw him into the wall locker, and I shake his hand. I shake his hand loose of these scissors, you know. And I mean, we're in it now at this point, right? But I didn't know there was this. I didn't know. So the room's like in these like three sections, and there was a kid. You know, the way you have your wall locker set up is that, you know, a blocked off part of your area there. So for some privacy, I didn't see this kid. There's a kid back there in his bed, you know, and this kid was from Michigan, Detroit.
Yeah.
So we were, you know, so we were talking about earlier. So we were cool. Well, this woke his ass up, you know, and he jumps up. He's like, "Man, y'all ain't gonna be fighting in my room." And he got in between us to separate us, man. And when he did that, that kid, he pushed me, man. He pushed me damn hard. I mean, I felt that shit in my chest.
Yeah.
And I took one step when he did that. I took one step back, and he put me in perfect orthodox position. You know, I used to fight right-handed, you know, because of that injury I had with that neck injury I had in my right arm was kind of messed up. You know, I wasn't able to throw a real good jab. So I started learning how to fight right-handed, and put me in that leg cocked back. It was like perfect punching posture. I just delivered this straight right cross. I mean, it was so fucking clean. And I have a nasty right cross. It was weird because of how my shoulder is and whatnot or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't really come to the side. It goes like straight down the pipe. Man, I hit him in his eye, bam, and his head snapped back and like this blood splattered. And this is the weird part, man. So he went stumbling back, and I ran up and I grabbed him. And this shit sounds really strange because it was like this. I hate to say it like this because it's almost too good to be true. But then I slid this motherfucker across a dresser.
Yeah.
You know, like something in the movies, just like a small table. You know, like you see them.
Shit all on the dresser, all falling off.
All of it went off, and I feel so bad to this day. I hope my boys watching. Jimmy D. I walked with him across. They did a walk for veterans across the country this year from Tybee Island, Georgia, all the way to Santa Monica, California. And I picked up that leg from Arizona to California. There's some stories with that one too, but that's for another time.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
He's one of the guys I served with in Kuwait. You know, I just wanted to get back out there with one of my guys and have kind of a last hurrah with him or something like that. You know, it was an opportunity for to do that. But anyways, this guy's in PLDC going to sergeant school. Man, this kid, you know, he's got fucking pictures of him and his mom and his daughters and his cologne and his fucking CD player and all this shit. Slid it across his fucking dresser. Everything comes off. Fucking pictures are broke. I was apologizing to him this summer about it. You know, still.
It's like 30 years ago, right? It was like 20 years.
I was like, man, I still feel bad about it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I slid him off this damn dresser, and we end up kind of like horizontal in the air, and we fall on top of each other. You know, and I end up with my hands around his neck. I'm banging his head off the ground, trying to kill him, you know? And that kid from Detroit reaches up. I mean, by any means necessary, I'm trying to accomplish the job when I'm in this state. You know, this kid reaches up, tries to pull me off of him. Of course, you know, I have that bite thing going on, so I fucking bit him. You know,
look at dudes walking around the base, bite marks all over from you.
You know, so, and I hear all the shit going on, man, in the fucking kid's room, who it is from Alabama. He's banging on the door. Hey, let me in. What are y'all doing in my room? Let me in. Because he hears all the commotion and shit going on. It might be his shit that's getting broken, glass everywhere and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And fucking lets him in. He runs over, tries to pull me off the kid, and I threw this rear elbow to him. You know,
caught him with it.
I caught him with it. He went kind of flying back against, you know, he went stumbling across the room there, and you hear him run out. Help! I need help! Somebody help! Guys, help! I need some help! Right? And then finally, the kid from Detroit is like reaching up. Now he's like tapping me on the shoulder, like not trying to grab me,
Yeah, yeah.
And
Trying to keep his distance. He doesn't want to get bit.
the bit it right. So he's like, Hawkins, you're gonna kill him. Hawkins, you're gonna kill him. You're gonna kill him. Like after hearing that shit like 20 times, like I stopped and I like look, I was just like, the fuck. I looked at my hands and I was like, damn, the fuck, I mean, I knew what was going on, but like I was so into it that I just wasn't. I was trying, I don't know. I don't.
You're on a mission, man.
So so me and that kid from Detroit are cool. So I stopped. I start to get off him, and the kid from Detroit's like, man, all right.
Is he all bloody? Is this dude all bloody and shit?
His eye is already swollen. I mean, it looks like Mike Tyson hit him. I mean, the shit is looped over. I mean, it's already filled up with blood. I mean, it looks
the
like
top, the top, right? Yeah,
it's already and it's dripping down the side of his face. I detached the kid's retina. He ended up having to go to the hospital. And he ended up with a detached. He ended up having a detached retina. So, the kid from Detroit's like, I'm all right, Robinson. I'm gonna have Hawkins get up off you. And when he gets up off you, you better not do shit. So I get up, and that's exactly what he does. He like tried to kick me or something, and there was a chair right next to there, and that kid from Detroit took the chair and fucking like rammed it into his head. He's like, "Hey, I told you not to do something, but that fired me back up. So I'm standing over this kid. I'm getting ready to stomp his face in. I picked my leg up, and when I picked my leg up, he did one of these moves like this, right?
Yeah.
But I found somehow that just tickled me and made amuse me. It kind of was entertaining. So I picked my leg up about 3 or 4 more times just so I could watch him do like this, just so he understood.
That's too funny, man.
Just so he understood who was in what position at that time, And anyways, so after that, man, I kind of was like, oh, this is stupid. I turned around. I picked the scissors up. I threw them like across because I was pissed. I was pissed that you tried to stab me. Like, you really went there?
Not only the guy could have said my bad and apologized, but damn, he picked up scissors on top of being an asshole. Wow.
So somebody ran over and got top. He comes over and he's like, man, he's like, God damn it, Hawkins, you better stop using your muscles for something better than to beat my soldiers up with. So I knew he was pissed.
As time goes on, though, like they have a little talking to you, right? But you think you're good.
Yeah, so we knew so we had a little talking to, but nothing came about it, So this is right, this is I think this is actually before, if I remember correctly, before Memorial Weekend, which was, so we got a 4-day weekend. Yeah, it was before Memorial Weekend. I got that 4-day weekend. And here's the fucked up thing with it. So every Memorial Weekend, there's Bike Week down in Myrtle Beach. So I go to Bike Week, thinking like, okay, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't realize that was going to be like my last weekend to be able to go home and
you didn't go home first.
And do something.
Yeah.
Well, which, I live in Michigan. I'm all the way down to the bottom of Georgia. I'm not even supposed to be in. So every 3 or 4 day weekend, I'd fly home or drive home. And I'm not even supposed to be there. You're supposed to have a pass. You're only supposed to be 250 miles away from the base. I'm 1,000 miles, 7 states over, If anything were to ever happen to me, I'd be in big trouble,
Yeah.
And so, I go to Bike Week, and like everything is everything's peachy cream and cool. Nothing happened. I got away with this shit. I think everything's cool.
Is he walking around like is he walking around with the eye all
yeah, for like 2 weeks he had this thing over his eye because it detached his retina, and I think the cornea was fucked up, and any light that was in there, so he's walking around with like a gauze on his eye, and then later he had like this eye patch for a little while,
Yeah.
And so like as time goes by, nothing's going on. We have the whole month of June. Nothing happens. I swear to God, I'm scot free. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing happens. I'm thinking every weekend because I know they're gonna want to take my time away and whatnot. It doesn't happen for like 4 fucking weekends. I think I'm good and I'm in the clear. So I buy a plane ticket because we're gonna be deploying in August. I buy a plane ticket to go home 4th of July weekend to go see my girlfriend and see my friends and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
So Thursday afternoon for the 4th of July weekend, because it's every federal holiday, right? We get 4-day weekend. Fucking we get out early Thursday at 1400 at 2:00. I think everything's cool. I got my fucking car packed, ready
You're
to
like,
go.
yeah, right. You're like, yeah, about
You
to
know,
go home.
because soon as they say we're dismissed, you watch everybody just run like roaches and shit. You know, when they turn on the lights, scatter. People get in their cars. They got their cars packed. They're on the highway, or they're headed to the airport. You know, they're driving home, whatever the case may be. You know, we're out of there.
Yeah.
We got to get off the base. So, so they say, all right, formation, da da da. They say whatever they say, and then they say, all right, you're dismissed. And in the same sentence, all right, dismissed. Hawkins, Robinson, at the company. And I was
That's
like,
like,
fuck.
what's that? Like, kind of like the principal's office, kind of.
Yeah, it's where
Higher up.
Well, it's where you report to. It's your place of business for the most part. You know, where all the clerical shit happens and whatnot. The officers hang out and whatnot, and a lot of equipment is there.
Are you thinking like when they say that you go there? Are you like, damn, this is it?
Yeah, I already know. You know, I already know. You know, so I'm like, fuck, I'm fucked. Like I thought I was good. You know, so I get there. They do what they do. They hand me my Article 15. You know, so I get 14 days extra duty and suspension.
Now you want to explain to the people what extra duty is for the people that don't know the military.
So basically your work day is 9 to 5, and your regular work day is a 9 to 5. You got your you got your PT at like 6 in the morning or 6:30, whenever it's designated. But for all intents and purposes, you have an 8-hour work day. It's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But extra duty is they can work your ass all the way till 12. The military only owes you 4 hours of sleep a day. You know, so they can work you for 20 hours, you know. So you think you're getting off at 5:00 and you got to stay till 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or some shit like that, depending whatever the job is they have for you to do. Because the most precious thing, especially in the military, is your time. That's really the most precious thing. Especially when you get in and you're young, like you kind of, you know, most people, you know, we're there doing a job, but most people like don't want to be there. You know, they want to have their own time and go do their own thing, go be with their girlfriends and whatever the case is, you know, go up, whatever it may be, you know. So
yeah.
You know, so taking up your time is the worst thing they can fucking do to you. You know, so that's my extra duty. And then I have my suspension is restriction. So I'm confined to my block. I'm not supposed to leave my block, or I'm not supposed to leave the base or my block. And so I get my 14 days extra duty, my 14 days restriction. I can't remember if they busted me or if they fucked up my rank or took my money. I can't remember that part of it, but
how much money do they take from you if something like that happens?
I can't remember because you got company grade Article 15, you got field grade Article 15, which can be like 45 days, like extra duty restriction. You lose your rank, you lose your pay. You know.
Wow.
I know I had a company grade. So I can't remember. I'm sure I didn't get. Get my.
Is there anybody in there since when you were in there? Was there anybody you seen commit any other offenses, like serious? Anything serious?
Oh yeah, like if you get a DUI, like you're fucked up. You definitely get busted down. You definitely lose your rank and money and stuff like that. And a lot of times rank is dependent on time and service. So all that time you've been building up, you just fucked it up with your action there. So there's definitely consequences to your actions. I mean, that's one thing. If you didn't get
Have
a
you
good
seen anyone get booted? First, then something they did.
yeah, yeah, I'll get to that one. I'll get to that one. But with that 14 extra days, extra duty and restriction, I mean, it feels like an eternity, especially to a kid,
Yeah.
once it's time, it feels like an eternity. So I got to do dumb shit like they said. I saw the couple of comments: clean the latrine, clean the toilet. Had to do that shit. Got to clean the company. Uh, you got to fucking cut the grass, water the grass, and then they do stupid shit for you too. So a lot of the days I had to guard the grass at the barracks there, make sure nobody walked on the grass. But then, then they made me come to the company to make the company look real pretty. I had to plant plastic flowers in the dirt that they had there going up the walkway to the company. And then I had to water the plastic flowers so they could grow healthy and pretty.
They were fucking with you, man.
It's demeaning, you know what I mean? It was like, damn, you feel like a dumbass, While everyone else,
There's like people walking in and out. You're up there.
absolutely. But here's the thing: when you have to guard the grass, because when you're on guard duty, is to make sure you protect. You're there to serve and protect.
At least you can be like, get off the grass, you know.
Well, you're not just in your uniform; you're in full battle rattle, Kevlar, fucking vest, everything.
Oh, you have to wear everything when you water
You're
the flower.
you're in full battle. When I'm guarding the grass, I'm guarding the grass. I'm on guard duty. I'm making sure nobody trespasses. Ready for action.
Oh
You
man,
feel like yeah, it's horrible, man. You know, but it's funny, So everyone's walking by laughing at you and shit, man. It's like
it's like you're wearing the dunce cap,
dunce cap.
right?
I was just gonna say that. I said it's like time out in the corner with a dunce cap for adults.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know if you want me to tell that one. The whole because that kid over there in Kuwait definitely ended up getting kicked out when he stole that piece of merchandise
Yeah.
from that sergeant over there.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
get into that. We'll get into that on the next one, man.
yeah,
I gotta go
yeah,
eat something, bro. I didn't even eat dinner yet.
yeah,
I do this every day, man.
yeah.
I don't eat until like after I'm done with all my work and my interviews for the night.
Right.
U.S. Army Combat Medic and those post Article 15 on the bulletin board for all to see.
Right. Yeah. So to make an example out of you so you don't make the same mistake they do. Yeah, man, it's something.
Was there times when they would be like he messed up, so everyone's got to do it?
Oh man, I mean the classic example was Full Metal Jacket when he ate that fucking jelly donut. But that shit's real, man. That was the comical kind of shit. And you get fucked up and everybody's got to do push-ups. Somebody messes up, everyone's got to do push-ups. They're fucking nagging on you and ragging on you for you having to do push-ups because of them. So yeah. Or you do one person's room isn't clean during inspection. Well, you have this thing called the GI party. So you thought you were going to the club, or you're going to the weight room, or you're going to do whatever. You're going to go fuck your girlfriend after your day, or whatever the case may be. You got to
Yeah,
be back. You got to go back to your barracks and clean damn scouring powder and the green pad with a white glove test because one asshole decided to leave something out when they came
yeah.
through in an inspection and didn't clean their room.
Forgot
You
to
know?
make their bed or some shit, right?
Yeah, so now we're out. So just and depending on who's checking that day, I mean, you're gonna have a bad day, or it's gonna be a hurtful day.
Was there a lot of blanket parties there, man?
Not too much. There was some. We didn't use soap. We didn't use soap. We didn't use soap bars, but in basic training, there was a few. There was a few. I mean, wet laundry ends up being really heavy in your laundry bag. Ends up being real heavy, and a full swing on that coming down on your head.
Yeah, nah, man.
Wake your ass up for sure. I know
Yeah,
that.
no, thank you, man.
But nothing too serious. You can't get into hurting people like seriously there. Because you are dealing with the government property and shit, right? So
I had another picture of you. I think it's on the thumbnail.
yeah.
The one of the tank. Were you guys sitting on the tank?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Where the hell did it
yeah. One of
go?
those guys. One of those guys in that picture, King. I just seen him a few months ago. He was just telling me about some. He telling me about some of these stories here. It was funny, man. He brought them all. He brought them all back up to me, fresh as hell. Yeah, that's King in that's King in the center. Now he's a. I believe he's E8 now. He's putting in his 24, 25 years. He was first
Yeah,
sergeant for a while. He was first sergeant for a while there. But really funny, to see him in this position of 24, 25 years. I did my couple years and got out. But if you were to look at any of us at that point in time, you'd be like, there's no way this dude's doing 24, 25 years. And I'm definitely
yeah.
I've had a very good life. And I wouldn't change it for anything, but I do have to give a big shout out to him. I'm very proud of him for doing all the things that he's done, because there's a lot of people that he caught up to and surpassed far as rank goes, um, that used to be over us, that used to try to fuck with us and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so he outdid a lot of them. And but shit, man, he had an instance over there in Kuwait where he got into a little scuffle with somebody. That was pretty interesting. Matter of fact, he's the kid that I was telling you that ended up not sticking to the story
Oh
and getting
yeah.
in trouble. You know,
So he's the one that
that's
put in
him.
20 something years? Really?
Yep.
Wow, so he wants to live by the strict,
You
by the
know he
code, by the straight and narrow, right?
he was just doing what's right at the time. For the most part. Uh, even though we partook in that little situation there. He didn't want to make it any worse. The rest of us tried our luck. We came out on top. But
Boy Blue says I was in the infantry, a paratrooper for 18 years.
hey, thanks for your service, man.
I separated as a E5. I was in Kuwait with you, brother.
What year were you in? What year were you in Kuwait? Oh shit.
The other guy's gonna answer you in a
So I
minute.
just I just missed Bosnia. I got out November. I got out November of '99.
He
I
said
got
he
out
was there in
November.
91.
So this guy that was in '91, uh, I didn't see the same thing as he did. So he was there for Desert Storm. I was there for Desert Fox, which was '98, which was really nothing. It was when the UN inspectors during the Clinton administration they didn't let the UN inspectors in, so we ended up
Hmm.
bombing them. You know,
Yeah.
but shit, man, even still, this shit was scary as fuck. Like just the unknown and being in that situation. Bosnia '97, nice. Yeah, I just missed Bosnia in '99 there. My unit ended up going there. So I kind of, in many ways, I kind of wish I did go to that Bosnia. I wish I did go to that Bosnia. I think that was a pretty interesting operation. I would have liked to have been part of that, you know. But shit, at the time, I wanted nothing more than to get out. I wanted nothing more
You
than
were
to get
like
out.
just done with it, right? You're like, I'm just.
Well, it's kind of funny because, you know, as we talk, and I've always known this for the most part, and then talking to people and just watching things and having a lot of friends here and there, you know, being in the military is could be considered very parallel to say prison, you know, just an institution the way just it's an institution separated from regular civilian life,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. And so
definitely is, man.
there was I wanted nothing more at the time than to get out, you know. And I almost didn't get out. I almost got kicked out, and I promised, you know, I had a talk with my LT because when I was over there, you know, I gave him the finger, I flipped him off, you know. But this is after me doing a whole bunch of shit, you know.
Yeah.
And the situation with the phone card over there that we haven't talked about yet. We'll talk about it on the next one.
Yeah.
And so I end up giving him you know, he told me to, you know, do something. We had to get to formation or some shit. I gave him the finger, you know, I just had enough of it, you know. And yeah, where's that shit? I gave him the finger, and they're ready to chapter me out. After that. And you know, I had a talk with them when we got back from Kuwait, and I told him, I said, listen, I only got 9 months here. I plan on going to because remember that conversation we had, you know, I had that foxhole prayer.
Yeah.
You know, I had that come to Jesus moment, you know, having that talk with God. If I make it back from here, I'm gonna change my life and all this shit. So I had an idea. Oh shit.
What's going on, brother?
Omen. So I just had that thing. I was talking to the LT, and I was like, listen, when I get out of here, I'm going to college. I'm changing my life. I have an opportunity to do XYZ. I have the college fund, this, that, and the other. I said, if I get kicked out now, like, it's just going to be detrimental to me. I said, I understand what I've done. I said, listen, you won't have no more problems on me for these next 9 months. I said,
turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways.
I'm twisting up a blunt, bro.
I said I'll do these next 9 months problem free. You'll have no more issues out of me. I'll do this shit standing on my head. You know.
So did they have no more problems?
You know what? I did have 2 more problems, and I'm not sure I want to share that one with you guys yet. You know, I'm not sure I want to share that one with you guys yet. It is pretty funny. I'm not sure.
So you and Damien have spent a lot of time together in Boston, right?
Yeah.
A lot of time, man. Me and this guy have a lot of fucking crazy stories.
Oh man.
He knew me when I was at my best, and I knew him when he was at his best as far as fighting goes. And this is a guy right here that was fucking. He was feared in the gyms. Believe me, people feared guns in the gyms, but he was always a gentleman, and he's a very dear friend of mine. You know. We have a lot of great memories. We spent a lot of time together. We were like brothers, so we have plenty of memories to go around, man. You want to share one, Guns?
Yeah, no, it was really really fun time with this kid, because you know, whatever makes Damien, whatever makes me, we just we have a good understanding of each other, and we complement each other, and it's you know, it's good, man. We train a lot.
Yeah, he was one of the guys in the gym that I looked up to, you know, because he was very, very skilled, and but he had the military background, so I respected that a lot about him, and he just always tried to push me and help me get better in the gym, and that meant a lot to me. That, you know, that was like important, you know, when you have that bond with somebody, and especially when you're doing a fight camp, because it's like when you're doing a fight camp, you're doubting yourself, and you know you're in your own head, and he knows just as well as I know because he's been in the cage, you know, and we just have a great friendship, man. We punched each other, we've kicked each other.
I was gonna say,
you know,
me and this kid have punched each other in the face so many times, and I mean, and then sometimes it's got like we've always been boys. That has never changed. But there's a few times in that cage, us training, where like we had it kind of for each other. We done rocked each other a few times, several times.
Yeah.
Like,
even when I never forget when I used to train with Nick Drummond, when me and Nicky used to get in the cage. I don't know what it was, bro. When we used to spar, we used to just scrap it out, bang out in the middle of the cage. It was always like that. But that was what made us closer, though, man, because we were testing.
But that's such a good. It's such a good thing because you know who's who and who's what, and who's capable of what. You know, like know, like your boy. Like when you fight and you train with people, you know what that person's made of.
Exactly.
Whether you know them, whether you're friends with them, whether you don't like them, whether any of that type of shit, you know what that person as a man, you know what they're made of.
Yeah.
Period.
You know, any fighter will tell you that.
And so that's always that's always been a good thing.
It separates from the real and the fake real quick. You know, who's in it? Who's funny? In it to be? You know,
it's funny that Damien says that because there's a lot of fighters that are in there that are great and good and they're athletic, but they're not kids from the street. And there's a different type of tenacity or grind or grit or demeanor behind it because you know they're in there maybe throwing a punch. I'd have to say hard because they're throwing a punch hard to be throwing a hard punch. But like we're in there trying to fucking hurt somebody because we have some fucking problems. We need to get. I'm gonna punish you for all the bad shit that ever happened to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're like out for blood, right? You're like out for blood.
Well, look. The way I looked at it, every time I stepped in that cage was like, it's kill or be killed. It's time to go. It's go time. You know, this guy's trying to hurt me, and I'm trying to hurt him, and it is what it is. It's what it is. You know.
Like really bad intentions.
And I gotta tell. Hold on, Eli. I gotta cut you off because I gotta tell the story about when you need the guy in the fucking face and he fucking got taken out in the stretcher. That was fucking crazy. So Eli, that was your debut, right? Was that your debut or that was your second fight?
No, my second fight.
So how fast did that happen? The knee to the head, wasn't it like 20 seconds?
11 seconds.
11 seconds. This motherfucker knocked somebody out in 11 seconds, yo, and it was the most brutal knockout I ever seen. He kneed the guy in the face, and the guy was knocked out against the fucking fence, yo, and then his lifeless body just fell on the ground, bro, and he was out. Yo, this motherfucker got carried out in a stretcher. It was crazy.
It was scary.
Needless to say, the motherfuckers that were fighting behind that fight were like, oh, shit, this is some real shit out here. You know?
You know, it was scary because you know, I work in the medical field too, you know, and I'd see a lot of patients for head trauma because I do imaging. I do a lot of CAT scans and I do, you know, head CTs and whatnot. And so I know what happens in the brain with certain shit, you know. And that kid was laying there. He got knocked stiff, you know. It was kind of like seasoned, you know.
Yeah.
And they had shut down that venue for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was bad, bro.
I was scared. I was actually scared for the kid, you know. But
hey, was that after did I fight that night too?
No,
I didn't, right?
No, you didn't fight that night. But
did you guys ever get in a fight where you're like, damn, I feel like I'm maybe a little over my head?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have one time. It's online. The fight's online, but. Look, I fought a guy that was way out of my weight division. I took it on really short notice because I had sold a lot of tickets, and you know I'm not making excuses. But there's weight classes for a reason, and when you fight a really skilled guy on last minute and you don't really know much about him, that's what happens in this business. You know, it's a tough business. It's not a joke. You know, people think it's a joke. It's not a joke. You know.
No, but I had a great time. Yeah, I mean, Damien was a guy that I definitely was a guy I looked for in the gym just because what's real funny about about me and Damien was that we weren't always accepted really in the gym and the groups in the gym as well, So like he was somebody that I always looked towards too as well, far as when I come to the gym to just have a face that made me feel like I belong or was accepted or whatever the case may be. Because
a lot of politics.
Because I wasn't there. But the cool thing is that Damien was really, really into Damien's really. I feel that. I mean, he had great stand up too, but he was more of a ground guy, more of a jiu-jitsu guy, at least at this time. And jiu-jitsu's kind of always been more so his thing. And jiu-jitsu was never striking was my thing, So we kind of work
mix in your styles, right? Mix your styles together, kind of.
Yeah. But here's the thing, because so he would show me a lot of shit on the ground and train with me on the ground. I was very grateful for that, and I try to get him a lot, man, but fuck, man, this motherfucker would just I couldn't do too much with him, especially in the beginning.
He's a big fucking strong guy. Before, this was when I was a lot lighter too, so I had to. Don't get me wrong, this fucking guy is no joke on the ground. He gave me fucking hell. I mean, we had wars on the ground, me and him. But his stand up was his thing, and for me, I was grateful to have him because he was such a good striker. So for me, sparring with a big, strong guy like that, I mean, who's really going to be able to do damage like a guy like he could do to me? I mean, he would pull back a lot on what he was doing, and he knew when to go and when not to go. And that's what I respected about training with him, because he wasn't one of those guys that was trying to prove something. We were in two different weight divisions. If me and him were a 155-pound fighter, we would have been banging it out. We really wouldn't even have cared much. But I think he had a respect for me. I was in a smaller weight division, and he wasn't trying to hurt me, and I respect that a lot too, because some guys, they don't give a fuck,
Shit, yeah. I saw your fights, man. Dude's on top, and you don't even look worried. You're just fucking wrestling with him. I'm
yeah. Yo, everybody at my gym, Ask Eli, hated my triangle. They hated it. I submitted to everybody.
Oh, with your leg, right? With your leg?
Yeah, triangle choke was my thing, and I used to jump guard. I had so much confidence in my triangle. It was I would go into MMA fights, and I would just triangle somebody in under a minute. It was crazy. Hey, and remember, Eli, remember the fight where I fought the guy and I walked out to Helter Skelter? And remember, I elbowed the guy about fucking 30 times in his face? Do you remember that fight?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Because you heard me. I was because you were on top of me and you were punching. Yeah. And I was like, elbow.
Yeah.
And
I lit this dude up with it was bad. Gary Foreman, I'll never forget it. Gary Foreman was the ref, and that motherfucker should have stopped that fight. It was bad. I hit him a lot. I actually felt kind of bad afterwards. His face was a disaster. His nose bone was through his face and shit. It was crazy.
Sometimes those refs just let the fight go too long, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's about. I had too much of a good time, man. Training down there with you, Steve, guys that were we just understood each other and had a good time, and there was no like you said, there was no
showboating and shit.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We respect each other, and we're all working with each other. So we know that we had to put the pressure on each other to get ourselves better, but it wasn't that we didn't like each other. We weren't really trying to bang each other out, or crank ups or
But there were people in the gym that certain people didn't like, and underline little, there was shit going on,
when I was younger, we used to fight with each other all the time when we were younger kids.
Well, that's how you learn to be friends.
Yeah,
who's who and built for.
We'd be like, yo, we're gonna go harder on this dude.
Back in the day, you picked your friends based on how tough they were. You wanted the toughest crew. Yeah, that was it. If you were around a tough crew, nobody fucked around. That was it. That's what we liked,
Well, if we got in a fight or I punched or something happened and you didn't fight back or you didn't do something, we can't hang together. I can't trust you.
Right.
So
exactly.
I was telling Staxx earlier about that situation with that one kid there, You know, he was a black belt. We didn't really like him. He didn't like you. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
really,
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
really
We
like
won't,
him.
we won't say his name, but that was the funniest
You
shit I
know,
ever seen in my life.
and like
I'll
you're
never
getting ready
forget
for
it.
fights. You were getting ready for fights and
Yo,
whatnot. And
that's
like,
one thing though. We were all real moody back then, Guns. We were all because we were all dialed in, and we were all like, you know, it was crazy, crazy times.
yeah. So, I don't know because like Daniel was saying, like I wasn't the best at jiu-jitsu, but once I started catching on to it, it was tough to deal with me because I had that strength behind me with some technique.
Yeah.
And so I was giving this guy a little trouble on the ground.
Guns,
And,
what'd you weigh back then?
I was like 215, 210.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
215,
But I
210,
only
solid muscle.
I only
And
like
how much were you,
I was
Damien?
only like
I
7%
was
body
like,
fat or something like that.
I was like a buck. I was like a buck 75, a buck 80.
I'm gonna have some of this
That's
drink
about
here.
that's about what I get.
You know, but I fought at 155. He fought at what weight did you fight at? 185?
205.
Yeah, 205. See?
Oh,
So,
you drop weight, right? You drop weight before every fight.
I didn't
yeah.
really drop weight. I
He
never
didn't
really
cut a
dropped
lot.
weight. I never
Yeah.
cut weight. No. But
You
anyways,
cut weight for an advantage, right? That's why they do it.
Every fighter cuts weight to be bigger. They want to be bigger. They want to be the biggest fighter. But they're getting soon to maybe saying that they're not going to do it anymore because it's just so risky now. They've been talking about that for a while now, like banning weight cutting.
well, I didn't like to cut weight because I was already so lean and I could do it, but I was just better at a natural weight.
Yeah,
I could cut like 10 pounds or 5 pounds depending on my diet and how I was training. That I was just
yeah,
stronger and cutting weight. Cutting weight does deplete you. It depletes your body. So for me, like if somebody's coming down from 230 or 225 and cutting 25 pounds, that's a lot of stress on your body when I only maybe have to cut 5. So I'm gonna probably be the more healthier person in that situation and not
yeah.
depleted as much and be
Of
stronger
course,
actually.
of course.
Even if
Hey,
you weigh in it, come in at
you know what I
220
was
or
thinking
something.
about, man? I was thinking about the Chinese kickboxing days. Those were
Yeah.
good days too. That's when I like first met you. That's way back.
How long did you guys
Right
live
there.
in that house
That's
for?
that's where Damien was kicking my ass like on a regular basis. As far as MMA goes, and jiu-jitsu, he was fucking lighting me up. And he had this fucking. I remember him having this that green rash guard all the time, man. He had this green rash guard.
Oh, the Ultimate Fighter one, I think, right?
Maybe I always remember being the Hulk or some shit.
Yeah.
It was like a bright colored
Yo,
green.
do you remember being back then and like you signed up for fights right then and there? Me and Doomsday would Paul would fucking get us a fight and we just sign up, and it was so unorganized back then, it was so much different.
Yeah. Yep.
That's when the sport was just starting to evolve.
Listen. Like Damien said, I was good in the gym, and I know where my skill level was at. I didn't like actually. I don't know. I might have been. I don't want to say. Well, I'll say this. I didn't like fighting for the small peanuts that we for the the money that we'd make at that time.
Yeah.
Even in like say 2008 or 9, I think your very first fight. I think the very first fight in the UFC was only like $6,000.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate
to show was just $6,000. But like if you won or you got submission of the night or fight of the night, you get like a $70,000 bonus. So
Damn, that's a nice little chunk, man.
Yeah. But I look back and I'm like, damn, as far as the knockouts I had and this, that, and the other, I maybe would have made a lot of good money. But I think I probably made a really good decision though for myself at the time. For a while, because I used to love, I love to fight. I love to fight, and I love to spar. And that was a lot of my training. Like I would just go in and spar. I'd spar 15 or 20 rounds a night sometimes.
Damn.
And but it started to kind of catch up. So I started to slur my words a little bit.
Yo, I don't know what happened there, but yo, I just wanted to say that Staxx, I appreciate you having my buddy here on, my brother, man, and I'm gonna get and relax and hang out with my girl or whatever. But yo, guns, man, I look forward to catching up with you. I love you, brother.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Love you too.
Thank you, man.
Salute, Staxx. Be good, all right?
All right, bro.
All right.
Yeah, man.
I miss Damien, man. That's a real true friend there, man. And I'm really happy with all the stuff he's been doing and his success and everything.
Hungry Hill, man.
And I wish nothing but the best for him. I've always wanted to see the best. We've always have complimented each other, and I've always had to looked out for each other wherever we could. So,
yeah. Well, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we go, man? And I'm definitely going to have you on for part 2, part 3.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that was mentioned in my time here. So I'm going to give a shout out to my father. Yeah, I think he did a great job raising me and the lessons that he taught me. Shout out to Damien. We've had definitely some lot of memories. I would love to do another show with, say, him and I would just talk about different shit like that,
Yeah.
If we can. I'd like to give a shout out to my military folks, for everybody that served, especially the guys that are watching. Thanks for commenting and whatnot. Thank you for your service. I'll give a big shout out to my boy King. He was one of those guys in the picture there, and to my boy Jimmy, whose pictures and all his merchandise I've messed up on his dresser, sliding that guy across his damn dresser. So and Jimmy, my boy King, he's getting ready to retire now after doing 25 years. And Jimmy, he runs a program for people with PTSD. He did his 25 years, and we might have to introduce you to him, because this guy has done combat tour after combat tour. He's one of the few tankers that has a confirmed kill over there in Iraq. And he did the Buddy Watch Walk this 2020. Started out in
yeah, I saw the pictures. I looked at everything, man.
Yeah, so he I think he picked up the leg maybe in Georgia or Mississippi, and he walked from Mississippi all the way to Santa Monica, California. It took like
that's incredible.
It took like 8 or 9 months for them to do. Also because of COVID hit, and when I saw it, I mean, I was in Hawaii at the time working, and when I came back, I had to come back for the COVID. But when they started back up, I saw that they were coming through, and so I just stopped what I was doing and jumped on it with them, and spent like the next 5 or 6 weeks with them.
That's awesome.
I walked from Tucson to Santa Monica there, but I want to give a big shout to Jimmy. He runs a program for people with PTSD. Men, women that have experienced military trauma, whether it be sexual or combat, any of these things or whatnot. So.
You want to plug your company?
Well, I'll just give a little thing so we can talk about it later. So yeah. I've had a firearm company over the last 7 years now. I build the AR-15s and the AR-10s and different calibers, and yeah, that's them. Those are my 458s. That's my 5.56 and 9mm. And yep, that's how I start out right there.
It's the lower, right?
So, yeah, well, that's the lower and upper. And I was doing my own triggers at the time. Yep.
It's awesome. So see your logo there and all that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man, I got that. It's funny because I got that on my shoulder here,
It's
and
pretty
I've
dope.
had that. I actually got this. I actually got this when I came back from Kuwait back in 99. Actually, I got that. And as far as the tattoo goes, it wasn't exactly like this.
I know I can tell the bottom. The bottom goes a
Yeah.
little like.
Well, no, that's the design, but I had it touched up and whatnot. The
Oh
guy that
shit.
touched it up, the guy that touched it up was Victor Torres. He owns Victorious MMA up in Detroit. Check him out. He's always putting guys in fights. He fought. Matter of fact, he a few years ago, I think it was his last fight. He ended up being the king of the cage.
What's the website? What's the
champ.
website for the
For my gun
arms?
site? For my
Yeah.
gun site, I actually took down the website because I kept getting hacked. And so pretty soon there should be another website going up. I've got a bunch of new lowers and uppers in, so I got a
Mhm.
lot of new product. I got a lot of new product going out. As I was saying, that I work in the medical field, and I work doing travel contracts. So right now I'm on this travel assignment. So I'll work maybe 2 or 3 months, and then I'll take I don't know. I'll take anywhere from 1 month to 4 or 5 months off. I'll build some guns. I'll go shoot. I'll go see some people, go train and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mostly been doing my builds for pretty much veterans, mostly for veterans. But I did start building my weapons pretty much with myself in mind. What I know that I would want far as over in the tank, the quality and reliability of it. The different features on it. So.
Yeah.
My stuff does come upgraded out the gate.
Well, it is.
You have to have it there, But we'll get
It's-
into that more on another time. So,
Yeah.
I don't know how long this assignment is. I'm on assignment right now, and as soon as I get done with this assignment, I've got about 20 units I have to build up. So and I've got 10 5.56s that need to go out, and I've got 10 millimeter and 45 ACP. So I do the stuff in the pistol caliber carbines, actually.
It's pretty dope, man. I don't mess with guns. I'm a felon, man. So I stay
it's
away
funny,
from them. I look at the pictures, but that's about it, man.
Yeah. So soon, so I contract out of different machine shops and whatnot. I give them the specs, try to build it to what I want to, machine it to what I want to. I get it. I do all the assembling. I do all the assembling and testing, just because it's my product, and I want it to be reliable, and it's a mark on me.
Yeah.
It represents me.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure whenever it gets to you, that it's of quality and reliability, because that's the name of the game. People like to do stuff. People like to have the weapons to look good. And people are collectors and they like different things or whatnot. But for me, the end function is the end goal is its functionality.
Yeah.
And I hate for somebody to be in a position where that shit doesn't work and it costs you your life.
Yeah.
Because of it. So, but yeah.
But yeah, man.
Right
Thank
now,
you, man.
No,
I really
had a great
appreciate
time.
you,
I
bro.
always have a good time talking to you, man. And
Yeah, me too, bro.
I look forward to coming back and doing some more of this. I hope the people enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of different stories to tell and whatnot. I hope they can be entertaining, and I shit you not, all this happens exactly as I'm telling it. There's no downplay. If anything, I'm downplaying it. If anything, I'm downplaying it. So, but I hope things were entertaining for people. It's just been my life and my experiences that I had. I try to make the best out of everything. I try to, I stay motivational. I stay positive. And I like to see everybody rise and come up. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm glad you have your show. I look to return. I want to see this thing build up and grow, and I'd love to be a part of it, man.
It will, man. Definitely will. I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
Just getting started, man.
Cool.
Definitely. Man. Thank you again, man. And I want to give a shout out to Damien, Chicky, all them. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop.
I gotta get Chicky on here, man.
Chicky,
I
gotta
get Chicky on here. I've hung with him and Damien before one time. I tell you, we were walking up to this club. We got to tell a story about that night too. But walking up to this club, and this kid has his pants down under his ass, you know, and he stops. I'm sure Chicky and Dave, they don't even remember this shit, you know. I remember it clear as day, you know.
Yeah.
This kid has his pants down underneath his ass, so he's sagging, you know. And he stops. He bends over to tie his shoe, you know. Chicky walks up, you know, and like smacks him on his ass and grabs his fucking pants and hikes him up, you know. He's like, pull your pants up, you know. And we just like all in one setting, bam, pull your pants up. And we just keep walking. And the kid's looking like, what the fuck just happened? You know? But he sees three of us, you know.
I'll just leave him up, right?
It was crazy. The kid just stood there, didn't know what to do. He took it for a couple seconds, went back and tied his shoe. Tied the rest of his shoe. It was a good time, though. I had a good time that night. A lot of things happened that night. We got to have a show on that night there.
Yeah, we will, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Till next time, man.